Altadena better and stronger than ever. It's Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr every Saturday at 10 a.m. beginning Saturday, March 8th with an encore presentation Sundays at noon.
James Farr, the man who is the voice for Black Los Angeles.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
What's so different? Baby.
Say what?
What's so different? Yeah. If you cheated on him, how I know you ain't gonna cheat on me?
Yeah.
I need to tell you something. You say you love me, but at one time you loved him, so what's so different? Tell me if you were in my shoes. What would you do or think of me? Would you trust me, but you're feeding me all this rap about I was different, but it's not mentioned. What you're doing is wicked, now I'm having second thoughts about you and me, cause that's not how I wanted or it should be. You say you want my trust and told me you would leave, how am I to know that you would do it to me?
Happy Monday. Welcome in to KBLA Talk 1580. You are locked in with Jill Munroe for your entertainment news update. I hope you enjoyed your weekend. You got a bit of relaxation in, and now you are ready to hit these trending topics and headlines with me. What's so different? We're going to find out what's so different with Joy Reid. She gave her last opening earlier for her MSNBC show, The Reid Report. We're going to get into why her show is leaving and if there's something else going on, because you know there kind of always is. And here are her last comments. We're also tonight going to get into, NFL legend Steve Smith Sr. He has an intense aura about him. He's an NFL champion. Well, a man got on social media and is making some serious accusations against Steve. So we're going to get into that. We're also going to talk about Chris Gotti's comments about his brother, Irv Gotti, and a couple of other things. But, of course, before we get into all of that, I have to take a moment to say rest in peace to Roberta Flack. She was a true musical icon. Obviously, she passed away today. Not obviously. I'm sorry. Obviously, she was a legend. She passed away today, or we were alerted today. And, her voice is magical. If you can think of the timeless hits like Killing Me Softly, The First Time I Ever Saw Your Face, Feel Like Making Love, that good old-fashioned love music. Her career spanned decades. Obviously, we know her music was sampled later on. Lauryn Hill remade with the Fugees' Killing Me Softly, which was a classic for them. So, just want to say rest in power to a legend and, sending love and light to her family and all of her fans. Now, let's get into these headlines. Floyd Mayweather, he's always doing big things. Money Mayweather is what we used to call him. Do we still call him Money May? Andy says yes. Well, he purchased 62 apartment buildings in Manhattan for $402 million, making it one of the largest multifamily real estate deals in the city's recent history. And he plans to add more than 1,000 units of affordable housing to his real estate portfolio and with some of these. So I know we have a lot of jokes about Mayweather at times and, if he can read and what he does with that money, because he certainly lives an opulent lifestyle. Very, very flashy. And I'm not mad at it, but he is, in his own way, giving back and taking care of things that will leave a mark forever and ever and ever. And, that generational wealth that we always talk about. So shout out to Floyd. And also, Rihanna has recently revealed that the only album of hers that she listens to, it's actually my personal favorite Rihanna album. So, is 2016's Auntie. And that is actually the last one that she did. Obviously, we are waiting to see if is it R8? I think it was supposed to be called, is ever going to come out. She says she listens to it from top to bottom with no shame. She said that's in her recent, I don't know if you've seen her recent Harper's Bazaar cover story. So she's in there looking amazing. The shots are great. And she says that she used to have shame when it came to her music, and she doesn't like listening to her music at all, but that is the one album that she listens to. She said that it's not like it's me singing it when she listens to it. She says that's the one album that she can have an out-of-body experience with, and that, you know, when you hear your voice, you know, I completely understand it. I do not like to listen to anything that I've done. So I can understand that and respect that, but that's the one album she can. Andy?
You know, when you listen to music, are you listening more so for the feeling, or are you listening to maybe, think a little bit more? Do you like more thought-provoking music?
Remember,
or are you
I told you we had this conversation,
You're right.
Andy.
You want to turn up. You like to turn up.
I want to have a moment. I want to vibe. I don't need to be educated in my music. I read books. So that's that.
That's why Kendrick's performance didn't.
No, I loved. Come on now. We're not doing this. I love Kendrick's performance. I felt the message. I just felt it started with lack of energy. And on that note, when we come forward, we're going to get into more trending topics and headlines. And, you know, gotta love energy. I bring it. I want Kendrick to bring it too, because I know he can. All of that and more on the other side. You're locked in with Jill Munroe.
Seeing lovers do their thing. Ooh, that's the time. I feel like making love to you. That's the time. I feel like making dreams come true. Oh, baby. When you talk to me, when you're moaning sweet and low, when you're touching me and my feelings start to show. Ooh, that's the time. I feel like making love to you. That's the time. Feel like making dreams come true.
Your ride with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
The following is not a contest and is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways. Airfare not included. See FVGRadio.com for complete details. If you want a 100% complimentary stay at a luxury resort in Cancun, airfare not included, then Family Vacation Getaways is your ticket to paradise. See website for complete details. We're giving away 5 days and 4 nights to the first 50 callers who can name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. An animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. Do you know it? Call now, 800-868-6431, 800-868-6431. You're also eligible for an exciting bonus vacation to Orlando, Florida for just $498. And don't worry about anything ruining your plans. We can extend your travel up to 18 months. Name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird, and get your complimentary Cancun resort stay and an optional bonus vacation to Orlando for just $498. What are you waiting for? Call 800-868-6431, 800-868-6431, and give us your answer. Proceeding is not sponsored by this station or its affiliates.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You are locked in with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Now, as always, if you want to get in on the conversation, 800-920-1580. Hit us up on social media, KBLA 1580. I'm personally at Stiletto Jill. And you know the YouTube chat. Jump in there, holla at us, check out the visuals. So, before I get into this story about Joy Reid, I want to say one more thing about Rihanna. She did talk about the potential of a new album. She said, one, rumors that it's going to be a reggae album are way off. There's no genre attached to it right now. She said she waited because everything that came to her, she said it wasn't her, it's not right, it's not matching her growth or her evolution. And she said she couldn't stand some of the songs, she couldn't do this, she couldn't imagine performing it on tour for a year. So that means that she's planning to tour, people. And she said after a while, she looked at it as taking this much time away from music, it needs to count. And the next thing that everyone hears has to matter. She said she cannot put up with anything mediocre after waiting 8 years. So she said, if you got to wait, you might as well wait a little bit more. But she's enthusiastic and feels like she's right where she needs to be right now.
I wonder if she lost her mojo.
Probably a little bit because, one, music is a grind. Touring is a grind. All of that. Studio, late nights, long things, trying to get it right in the studio. And she's a mogul now. You know, she has beauty. She has Fenty, Savage Fenty lingerie. She has the hair care line. She has them babies. You know, life is different now. So the passion for music may not be in the same way.
And if that's the case, then I'll take as much time away from music as possible, because it sounds like she doesn't even have any type of inspiration. And I'm thinking because, like, you know, Savage Fenty is popping now. You know what I mean? Her and ASAP, you know, it's getting deeper between them two. You know, when you're living good, maybe that hunger that you had just ain't there no more.
It's not, because you don't, when you're thinking about it, you don't know what it is yet. You don't know what it could be, right? And you're just trying to get to that moment. But now, you know, Rihanna came out, in 2006?
Man, that was a minute.
So it might have been earlier than that. It has to be earlier than that because I worked with her in a Nike campaign. So maybe 2004 she dropped. Andy's going to check it out for us. So we'll see. But, you know, I'm not mad at her for putting a pin in it for a moment. So Joy Reid, we know that she is one of the 2005. All right, so, you know, I was in the pocket, but I mean, that's 20 years in the game, and we are still craving Rihanna. We are still craving her to show out. DJ Black 909 says, Rihanna dropped an album dang near every year between 2005 and 2012. If she wants to take a few years break, let her. There's a reason Auntie is her best work. She took the most time on it. I can rock with that because, like I said, Auntie still is my favorite Rihanna. There's stuff from it I still play 8 years later, so I can get with that. Lucas Frank says she's talking like she's a renowned singer. She's not Adele. You know what? Maybe not, but she has a presence and a vibe that people connect with. She sets a mood. B better have my money. What? It's a moment. It's an icon. It's a feeling. Kiss It Better. Rihanna gives you a thing. So no, she may not be the most technical singer, but Adele also couldn't do what Rihanna does. And that's fair. They're entertainers. So her fans are waiting for her. She got a Navy. They have a name and they're still waiting and, propelling her beauty products to the stratosphere. So shout out to you, Lucas Frank. I appreciate you, but we're not going to shade Rihanna. Not with me here. All right. So let's get in on Joy. So it was announced over the weekend that her show, the ReidOut, where she gave weeknight commentary and came at people on our behalf, spoke out, was really there for the people, is being canceled. And a lot of people are wondering if this is strictly about ratings. Now, it should be noted that her ratings are down about 25% from where they were last February. And she is not the only person that is losing their job. There is an overall programming change that is happening at the network, and ratings allegedly are a large part of it. There's a new president in for the company. And, we also know that there is a change in our administration. And it feels like, to many, that a lot of our news stations are converting from their, left-leaning coverage to a more central, let's say, in the middle. But people are questioning, rightly so, why this seems to be happening mostly to journalists of color, Black women especially. There has been a history of Black women being removed from their roles at MSNBC. And, people are upset. So Reid's 7 p.m. time slot will be replaced by a new panel show. It features Alicia Mendez, Michael Steele, and Simone Sanders Townsend. And we know Simone Sanders was previously moved out of her spot at one time. There have been others, Tamron Hall. There's a list we can go through. But, it is interesting that we are always the first to go, and we're the first to be utilized at times to make things hot. Right? Rebecca Cutler is the new MSNBC president, and she is changing the lineup because she said overall there's been a 53% drop in viewership since the election. Now, I wonder if they are accounting for the fact, if this is that, semantics thing in a way, what was their election coverage like and the drop-off like in prior years following the election? Because obviously people are going to be a tad more tapped in during election season, especially when the elections are contentious, and then may pull back after the fact. So I wonder if that is of a consideration in what is happening with some of these shows. We don't know. But Jonathan Caphart, Katie Fang, and Amin, and I do not want to mess up Amin's last name, so I will refrain from saying it, are also losing their weekend shows. And there will be one multiple host on separate editions of the weekend at 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. respectively. And Fang will remain with the network as a legal correspondent. So, once again, the question is asked, was this the only option? Now, we have seen several, Don Lemon, Roland Martin, Mr. Tavis Smiley with the whole station, that have gone on to set up their own entities. And I feel that Joy is someone, she participates a lot on Instagram Live and that can go ahead and start her own YouTube channel, platform, wherever, and run it in the way that she sees fit. And I believe that her audience will follow and support her. So, although we would love to hear her voice in this space, we also have to tap in to where our people are and make sure we support them wherever they go and not rely on the mainstream, because obviously things are changing. They're shaking it up. And we can vote with our views. Andy?
Well, based off of that, it must be a blessing in disguise. I mean, considering viewership going down, I just think people aren't watching terrestrial TV.
They aren't. I mean, that is the fact. They're finding other ways to get their information at different times, but, they still have to press on. So we shall see. Summer says, yet Morning Joe is still there. It is, it is. Pretty Brown Mimi says, NBC, MSNBC fired Black Black and people of color, and yet Joe and Mika are still there. Lil Kenny says, yeah, Morning Joe kissed the floor for Trump. They did go make a visit. Don't know what happened there, but they did go have a chat. Let's listen to what Joy had to say about the situation.
My show had value, and that, I'm sorry, that what I was doing had value. And in the end, I'm sorry, I try not to cry on TV. And this is kind of like me on TV, so I apologize. And that it mattered. I see Karen is there, and she's been texting me as well. And so what I will just say is that in the end, thank you. Where I land is that the moment of guilt that I felt, that I went hard on so many issues, whether it was the Black Lives Matter issues of a young baby or a mom or a dad that was killed, or when we opened up people's eyes to the fact that Asian Americans were being targeted and not just Black folks, or went hard for immigrants who've done nothing but come to this country like my parents did and try to make a life and defended them, or whether we've talked about what the president is doing that is subversive to the Constitution, that is injurious to our liberty, defending books that people find inconvenient, that Nicole Hannah-Jones put into our spirit, that we need to understand 1619 as the real founding of this country, whether it's talking about any of these issues, and yes, whether it's talking about Gaza and the fact that we as the American people have a right to object to little babies being bombed. And where I come down on that is I'm not sorry. I am not sorry that I stood up for those things, because those things are of God.
So, listen, there is a campaign that is being started by several in the media, Jamel Hill, Angela Rise, a couple others, lots of people. They have started a social sort of campaign, hashtag I stand with Joyanne Reid. There are several steps that they would like you to do. You can check in and tap into that on social media if you feel that is the right course. Let's see. Bruce Jones in the chat says, good riddance to her. Nothing but a spewer of misinformation. All right then, Bruce. That's how you feel. Don Nelson says, we love you, Joy. So I am all for her getting her own platform and making a case. Now, it's not easy saying that. I know it's easy. People are always like, get on your own platform. And there are certain finances that come behind that and sponsors and things like that. But it's obvious that they're like not going to be in support. So you can't fold, can't disappear. You got to do what you can. Andy?
If we could rally behind a Kamala Harris, right? You have thousands of people get on a Zoom call and invest buku money, to help somebody, achieve, the presidency. I think that everybody that's, organizing this hashtag, hell, if we're talking finances, it's not easy. We can put some money together and I don't know, give her a platform or create another platform for Joy Reid to do her thing. That's just my whole mentality right now. And I'm not going to lie. Look. It's going to be a little bit controversial. But once again, everybody coming together, right, in support of Joy Reid because she just lost her job. I'm sorry, man. There's plenty of average Joe individuals losing their job, and ain't nobody coming together to help them get a job for $15 an hour. No right. Disrespect. But I'm just saying, though, the average Joe out here is struggling, too. I'm going to leave it at that.
They are. So, listen, she already had her last monologue for her final show. So, support her. Keep up with her. Tap in. And what can we say? We see the writing is on the wall, and we got to keep it moving. All right. So, next up, before we get into the Steve Smith story, I'm going to wait until, after the next little segment. But I did want to tell you that Marcus Jordan, he was arrested a couple of weeks ago, allegedly for cocaine possession. But it wasn't cocaine, it was ketamine. I don't know if that makes it any better, but ketamine is a Schedule III drug in Florida, which means it carries different legal consequences than cocaine, which is a Schedule II. So now he faces possession of ketamine, DUI with property damage, and resisting arrest. He's pled not guilty, and he is going to be refraining from making any comment on the situation. Andy, looked like you had something to say. No? Okay. So, shouts out to Marcus for maybe getting himself situated. We've seen the photos in various places. And, hopefully he gets that straightened out and he's not caught on camera anymore or arrested embarrassing Michael Jordan. I know Mike is like, man, look, listen, I did all this and this is what you're doing? Okay, when we come forward, we are going to get into this Steve Smith story because it's juicy and people are tripping. I don't know why they go to social media with their business. We're going to talk Chris Gotti, and we're going to give you an update on Tony Buzbee. That's the lawyer in the Jay-Z, Diddy, and all of these things. He's apparently been barred for practicing in federal court in New York. We'll give you the details on that on the other side. You are locked in with Jill Munroe. Coming up, news, traffic, and sports.
You're in the know with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. President Trump is praising an email from Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency asking federal workers what they did last week, calling it, quote, genius, unquote. Musk says no response by tonight will count as a resignation, though some agencies have told employees to ignore it. Chicago priest Michael Pfleger and other faith leaders are urging a Target boycott over its rollback of diversity efforts. The move follows Target aligning with President Trump's order to dismantle DEI. Retired General George Casey says President Trump's firing of African-American Joint Chiefs Chairman Charles Brown Jr. is destabilizing. He told ABC's This Week that sudden leadership changes create uncertainty and leaders should not be punished for following past orders. And Grammy-winning R&B singer Roberta Flack has died at 88. Known for hits like Killing Me Softly, she was the first artist to win back-to-back Grammys for Record of the Year. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
It's slow in Calabasas, 101 southbound, leaving Lost Hills. And delays are taking you ahead all the way to the 170-134 split, slowing ahead in Hollywood from Sunset Boulevard into downtown Los Angeles. Simi Valley, delays on the 118, heading eastbound, leaving Princeton Avenue. Looking much better once you make your way past 1st Street. Also a little crowded ahead in Porter Ranch as you continue ahead towards the 405 freeway. Very tough right now in Irvine, slowing down on that 5 northbound from Culver Drive. Delays ahead to Harbor in Anaheim.
If you or someone you know is affected by the Los Angeles wildfires, you are not alone. No matter how sad, scared, or heartbroken you feel, CalHope is here for you and all those affected by the devastating wildfires. Find free, safe, and confidential mental health support at calhope.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Keep this name on your radar. Carson Vincent, an offensive lineman at HBCU Alabama A&M. Vincent, listed at 6'6", 305 pounds, is the only HBCU football player invited to the NFL Scouting Combine in Indianapolis. The Combine kicks off today and runs through March 3rd. It's a major exposure opportunity for college players to be evaluated by all 32 NFL teams before the draft in April. The fact that Vincent was invited to the Combine is an indication that he has a pretty good chance of getting drafted. No HBCU HBCU player was selected in the 2024 draft. Isaiah Bolden, a cornerback from Jackson State, was the last HBCU player selected in the NFL draft. Bolden was a 7th-round pick of New England in 2023. We'll keep you updated on how Vincent does with his skills competitions and interviews at the Combine. Vincent, a native of Mooresville, North Carolina, was a 4-year starter at Alabama A&M. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 stands with you neighbor to neighbor, bringing you resources and what you need to know. For up-to-the-minute info on distribution hubs, help, and volunteer opportunities in the Altadena area, please visit Neighborhood Servants or Pasadena Community Coalition on Instagram. The Wild Seed Collective is offering free grant workshops to businesses impacted by the LA wildfires. Find them at wildseedcollective.com. Fuller Psychological and Family Services is offering 12 free therapy sessions to people impacted by the fires who are unable to access care. Contact Executive Director Dr. Ted Koss at tedkoss@fuller.edu. Grief and Hope, the LA Art World Mutual Aid Relief administered by The Brick, is offering help to artists impacted by the blazes. Info is available at the/brick.org. On Instagram, Mutual Aid LAN is updating a Google Sheet in real time with locations, verified GoFundMe sites, and current resources. If you haven't done so yet, it's still a good idea to sign up for Notify LA on your phone for fire alerts and updates. Praying, advocating, and standing with you. KBLA Talk 1580.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Imagine a Los Angeles where everyone can thrive, where communities have access to the resources they need to succeed. That's the vision of Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. They're dedicated to improving life in LA County by providing educational support, employment assistance, and spaces for community engagement. By 2050, they want LA to be the best place to connect, create, learn, live, and play. They're working toward an education system that's well-resourced and culturally responsive, becoming a hub for artists and innovators, and making sure everyone has access to healthy food, quality healthcare, and safe housing. It's about building a future where we all have the chance to succeed. We invite you to learn more about their mission and get involved with Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
私はスター I get money, I'm a star. I get money, I'm a star. お金稼ぐ俺らはスター
Hilarious.
稼ぐ私はスターキラ私はスター
Welcome back in. You are locked in with Jill Munroe at KBLA Talk 1580. Look, speaking of the NAACP Image Awards, I was there this weekend on the red carpet. We got a little bit of information about if a Wayans documentary is in the works. Currently, it is not. Brandy Victoria from The Hollywood Reporter talked to Damon on the carpet, and what he said is that He thinks that having a documentary would be a great idea. However, he doesn't want it to be sad or, the struggle or whatever. He said he wants it to be representative of the funny. Like, it can tell the story, but he said he's not looking for it to be tears and downtrodden story moments or what have you. No matter what, he's like, it has to be funny and it has to be done right. So hopefully we will see that soon on the horizon. I think it's very necessary. They were celebrated on Saturday night. Keenan and Sean were absent. I don't know why Sean was absent. Keenan, let's just say that, the family was well represented. They were well represented. So listen, if you're wondering about the star coming, go check out my Instagram, @StilettoJill. I was kind of lighting up the carpet just a little bit.
They didn't hear me.
And, I'll drop some interviews maybe later this week from some of the people I chatted with on the carpet. But shout out to all the winners, Dave Chappelle, Kamala Harris. She was in the building. Listen, I'm going to tell you what, when Secret Service is coming through, right? Because someone like Kamala is in the way, you got to get out the way and you got to move quickly. I had that experience at Essence too, like in 2019 when she was, a nominee then, and I was in the restroom and she was coming in and Secret Service came in and kicked us out. And she was like, they don't have to leave. She was so nice and so sweet. And, but Secret Service definitely came in and was like, we're going to need you to exit the facilities. We were like, what? Anyway, let's get back to these trending topics and headlines. So Steve Smith, he played for the Ravens. I believe that's where he won the Super Bowl, right?
He's known for being a Panther.
He's known for being a Panther, but didn't he win a ring?
I do not know.
I can't. Okay, I might be getting that wrong. But he's intense, right? He was working with the Baltimore Ravens, doing something. And apparently a young lady that he was dating that was part of the Ravens marching band, who knew they had one of those things? It is being alleged by her husband. He went on a rant on Twitter that included a recorded phone call and some text messages and a Facebook post where he posted on his wife's page. I guess he hacked into her page and posted speaking as if he was her and saying some very, very foul things. He said that Smith was creeping with his wife, and now, of course, the internet is eating them up. The former NFL star, he's a current NFL Network analyst. He and the woman, her name is Nicole Martinez, they're accused of sneaking around. So the posts have since been deleted, but Google's your friend, and if you work hard, you can find them. There's a video of him confronting Smith. He called him, and he was like, "You like sleeping with married women? You're sleeping with my wife?" Now, Smith, to his credit, the only thing he said was, "I'm sorry," and nothing else. Now, the gentleman did say that Nicole's now going to be divorced and she left her family behind for this scenario. The authenticity of the video has not been verified, so we can't say with absolute certainty that that was Steve on the other line, but it appears to be. And, they're alleging that this affair began somewhere in 2014. He was with the Ravens from 2014 to 2016. And he also shared some explicit text messages, which he claimed were between the two. His name is Tony, by the way. Oh, by the way, Steve Smith Sr. is married to Angie Smith. And they have been together since 2000. They have 4 children. And he hasn't publicly commented on the allegations, and of course he probably shouldn't, but my question is always, I know the point is to embarrass the individuals, but then what? Because you have children, sir, with this woman. You want your kids to be embarrassed as well? Like, I understand you got some get back, you're upset, but why a family in generally, and most of these things, is comprised of you two individuals and the children. Why are we not thinking about the kids' embarrassment in this? So, heck, if you just wanted to keep it local and embarrass her, send a family group chat, something like that. I don't know. But shout out to them. I hope they work it out. So we've been talking over the past couple of weeks, actually, about Irv Gotti's passing, and that we've lost a lot of our hip hop luminaries, not just hip hop, but in general, Black men that meant a lot to us, even in our regular lives, at fairly young ages. 40 and 50-year-olds should not be losing life from these type of things. And Chris Gotti was on a podcast, and he said basically that, Irv knew what the deal was, but he never went to the doctor. And then once he didn't make changes to his diet. And I've said this before. We've said this over the past week. Please let this be a wake-up call for you, right? He said Irv was eating Chinese food when he had the most recent stroke that ultimately he succumbed to, right? He said Irv had, now I think he was mixing these up. He said he had type 2 diabetes that developed into type 1. I think it goes the other way. Either way, he was diagnosed in his late 40s, and their father also passed away at 86 due to diabetes-related complications. Now, it's too young. That's simply it. He leaves behind a family, children, and obviously a legacy, right? And Chris also shared that Irv suffered greatly during the last 3 years of his life, and that he hopes by sharing Irv's story that people in general, Black men especially, will make regular checkups and adopting a healthy lifestyle the goal. Andy?
Like J. Cole said, pride is the devil.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? So, it's one thing to change your diet, but it sounds like the main thing that Irv Gotti needed to change was his pride. And pride is something heavy that a lot of us men have. A lot of people have, but you got to get that pride out of you. That's only if you care. He was on Drink Champs talking about his, his health, and he was talking about how his kids were trying to check him. And he was like, stop me.
He was like, I want to enjoy life. Yeah. And the thing is this, you can still enjoy life. Like moderation. Let's start with that. Moderation. I don't know. I just encourage you all to zero in on your health, your stress levels, the food that you're eating, because the family, the things that you work so hard for, they want you here to enjoy it with them. Let's get to a couple of these comments in the chat. Is it Kilos Melidi says, I'm probably jacking that up. I apologize, but a lot of guys like sleeping with married women. Honestly, if she was being taken care of at home, she wouldn't have stepped out. Oop, maybe, some people think that it's the allure of celebrity. I don't know. I'm not going to blame the mate. Here's the thing. I wouldn't blame a woman if her man was stepping out and cheating and saying she's not taking care of things at home, so I'm not going to blame the man. Could be. I'm just not going to do it with the limited information that I have. Black Warrior Spirit says, rest in peace, Roberta Flack at the concert. And Donny Hathaway duet were good ones. Listen, she's a legend. And she and Donny Hathaway together, they were magic, right? So, lastly, when we come forward, we'll get into this last story. That's better. We're going to break down what's going on with Tony Buzbee and why he's doing a little smoke and mirrors in his defense, as a defense attorney would. All that and more when we come forward. You're locked in with Jill Munroe.
You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. The Live Your Life organization mentors young women, helping them break negative mindsets and see beyond their surroundings. Through career exposure and hands-on training, they're encouraged to think big, stay focused, and make positive choices. Founded by Nikisha Mama Boo Smith, who transformed her life to become a community leader. Live Your Life is changing lives, but they need your help. They're raising funds to keep their new building open and expand their program. Your donations will support food, clothes, hygiene products, and holiday giveaways. Visit liveyourlife32.com. That's LIVEYOLIFE32.com to help today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in to Jill Munroe's Entertainment News Update. Listen, the chat is bustling, as always, and the commentary is intense. Shout out to Fahima. She says Rihanna is a billionaire. She is. DJ Black 909 says Joy Reid, last hired, first fired. Was she last hired? I can't remember. Her show has been on for quite a bit of time. But, I mean, you know, we know what's at play. It is a different way of thinking right now. And to be fair, a 56% ratings drop. Again, not knowing what it was 4 years prior, post-election. I would be interested in that kind of information. But when someone new comes in, they always want to make their own imprint on things and switch things up. So there you go. All right, Tony Buzbee. We know Jay-Z is keeping his foot on his neck legally. And some interesting information has been released, right? So Tony Buzbee is facing some consequences from his own missteps, but he is giving a little smoke and mirrors about the validity of the information. So essentially, we know that he is known for representing clients in assault cases, most recently against Jay-Z and Diddy, that high-profile one that was recently dismissed. He still has several other cases that he is levying against Diddy. And he was previously involved in like the Deshaun Watson thing down in Houston and all of those things. All right. You know, court, federal court, I should say, is not like regular court. Just because you're licensed and barred doesn't mean that you can come and speak and present a case in federal court. There's a process that has to be gone through, and you have to be basically accepted in, right? Well, Tony Buzbee, he didn't fill out the paperwork. He just submitted the paperwork at the end of January, maybe. Reminder, he filed cases there against Diddy and Jay-Z months back, right? But adding to the thought process, I'm trying to be nice, right? That Tony might be, doing a little bit of this for clout, feels like a little bit of blackmail or extortion with the letters. He probably never really intended to try these cases in court, right? So he has passed the bar in the state of New York, and he can practice at a state level. But when it comes to federal court, which is where the Southern District of New York, the Southern District of New York is, he's not authorized to that. And it came to light because of the Jay-Z and Diddy case. So his application was denied after he had already taken legal matters in the jurisdiction. So what will that mean for the cases that he has pending right now against Diddy and others? Now, Tony is saying that it's not true. He showed proof that he is licensed to practice in the state of New York. But as I said, the distinction on this is at the federal level, which is something that he does not have the permissions for at this time. So we'll have to see what develops with that, how it all rolls out. But, when your intent isn't pure, it's going to catch up with you at some point. All right. This story, I know you guys have seen Neo and the conversation around his girlfriends, right? He said monogamy isn't for him. He, is divorced from his ex-wife, Crystal, whom he cheated on and had an outside child with. And he was dealing with Crystal. Some say there was cross of his previous relationship with a woman named Monetta Shaw. Perhaps, perhaps not. There was controversy because Monetta got her tubes tied after she had, I think, one child with him or two. And it was a conversation because then he went on to have more children and she couldn't, and all of these things. But Neo is, poly now. So he's been introducing us to his girlfriends. Most recently, a fourth girlfriend has been added to the mix. She's one of his backup dancers. So there's two that were pretty current. Then a new one came in to make 3. And now baby makes 4. You can check out his Instagram page if you're interested in seeing the ladies. They happily post. They happily share this lifestyle. I mean, it's really only poly for Neo. I mean, I guess it is for the girls, but they don't get to have other boyfriends, They don't get to step around and do that. So, listen, if they like it, I love it. It's on to them.
They got other girlfriends.
Huh?
They got other girlfriends.
They likely do. They likely do. But in a recent interview, Neo talked about his feelings and how he has this conversation with his children about his life. Because allegedly these people live with him and his children visit him. So let's hear what Neo has. That's not it? It's not the one where Neo's talking about how he was going to explain it to the kids. The baby mama commented on it. Did I send the wrong one? I might have sent the wrong. Okay.
Your kids have questions about that? About your relationship?
Of course they do. And I answer them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Honesty. Again, I'm not lying to nobody, not even my children. Hey, this is daddy's girlfriend, and so is that, and so is that, and so is that.
You got no problem.
She gonna make you some cereal, and she gonna cook lunch, and she gonna wash your clothes.
Come on,
it's all good. And come on, it's family, it's community.
Oh, you
That's
need
what
your
it's
own
about.
book in the Bible, right between Corinthians and Ezekiel.
So those are Neo's thoughts, and the reason his child's mother, not Crystal, his ex-wife, and not Monetta, his oldest kid's mother, the one right in the middle, the side chick that broke he and Crystal up. No disrespect in calling you side chick, just, it's what it is. She was like, this is inappropriate. This isn't the way that a child should be raised and introduced to these things. Hey, girlfriend, you knew the job was dangerous when you took it. I do agree that it's probably not good for the kids to see this, right? However, you knew the job was dangerous when you took it. I'm sure you had these conversations with him about what was going on. And I know that she has since maybe, I don't know if apologize is the right word, but she feels some remorse about the hand that she played in the situation. So, listen, all I know is, at least, this is my big thing with all of this. As long as all parties know what's happening, fair exchange is no robbery. So have at it. I do think that it is a sensitive topic to discuss with children, and I can't imagine having that kind of conversation with them. But, handle it.
At least he's being honest.
I 100%. Be honest. Don't have people out here, thinking that it's one way and it's something else. Give them the choice. Don't mess with people's reality. And he's doing that.
And I think, with regards to sexuality, it's 2025. We have homosexual couples or whatnot. You got 2 women raising kids and stuff like that. You got folks, I got 2 daddies, I got 2 mommies. I mean, it is what it is, right? Once again, as long as there's communication with the kids, telling what's right and wrong and stuff, that's the thing. Parents are not conversing with their children.
Right.
That's the problem.
But kids are impressionable, and it sounds all good till your daughter comes home and says, yeah, I'm going to move in with dude, and dude has girly and girly 3. May not want that, but we'll see. We'll see. Now, if your son says it, you may be like giving him a fist pound and be like, all right, son. I don't know. Listen, thank you for tapping in. You got your front row seat to the culture here with me, Jill Munroe. Make sure that you are locked in every Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. I appreciate it. Up next, the voice of reason, Zoe Williams. Have an amazing evening, y'all.
Star, I get money, I'm a star. Okane kasegu, orera wa star. Okane kasegu, watashi wa star. Star, kira, watashi wa star. 流れる星たちどこに向かうまた願い叶えながら暮らすチェリー身につけたまま歌うスターたちが集まったスタジオ夜な夜な酒たくさん並ぶアジトさっきまで六本木で収録ラジオそっからテレビ撮影するはしごカメラたち追いかけてる俺たちを大好きピカピカのダイヤ暗いとこ輝い
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. New York City will close its asylum seeker center and dozens of shelters by June as migrant numbers